There is the sound of the boat squeaking, and an aged man named Sherman is sitting in it all alone. He is wearing black glasses and cutting fish into pieces on a cutting board. He finds another motorboat approaching at a distance. He smiles to see it. A man is swinging a little girl while a young girl is writing something about life to be predictable, calm, and safe. It is a hall of Paragon Council Industries, and a lady named Vivian is guiding several people about the services of their company. She fantasizes about a life that would be carefree and with no suffering at all, as they are creating a sustainable treatment regimen with miraculous results. She welcomes them along with her assistant to the company and assures them that they are in safe hands, and that they are fully committed to their patients' health. The man asks them to take a tour with them. The man on the motorboat named Bob stops by the other boat, and he goes to it. Sherman tells Bob that he does not like those people who seek solid grounds beneath them, and that is why he is meeting him on the water's surface. He asks him about his company. Bob tells him that everything is doing well at his company, and a new batch is going to start that day. He tells his dissatisfaction with the new man hired by Meredith in the company. He tells him that he has seen him rehearsing his weird line. He asks Bob to tell him all this Meredith. The newly hired man comes to Meredith and tells her the whole report, that there are 2 men and 2 women. They all are suffering from thanatophobia. Meredith says that everyone suffers from the same fear, so they would not get out of their job. A fat woman is sitting at the end of a corridor at a table. She calls one of the patients and asks her the name of her childhood pet. She says it was Spork. Thomas gives a card with Spork written on it. The lady looks confused. Vivian explains the rules to them and says that there is a reason for not calling them by their original names, and that there would be certain confusing things, but they would be explained at their appropriate time. She tells them that they would have to wear specially fitted suits all the time, and that they would be removed only by them when they find it required. Sherman chuckles while talking to Bob, as he finds it so funny and thinks that the whole process should have been recorded. Vivian further explains that there would be no mirrors during their therapy, and that they would not be able to see themselves. This is called the defamiliarization stage. They have to get away from their familiar selves. She asks them to take some rest to enjoy the further process. 2 months later, Jade, a young pretty girl, drives to Lloyd's house. Mr. Lloyd welcomes her, and his daughter Olivia screams with happiness to see her. She expresses her thoughts about the time when her family met with Lloyd's, and she found Olivia that way. Mr. Lloyd tells her about the guest's room, and that Meredith, his wife, would be late at night. When Meredith comes, she passes by Olivia and Jade without even noticing them. Meredith updates their progress to the other members of the company and asks them to vote for it. Mr. Lloyd is working on his project when Brady comes in and asks him about his project Artificial Intelligence and that it would risk the world. He tells in return that his discoveries would be approved and authorized one day. Mr. Lloyd praises his daughter, Jade, and that he has brought her up in a good way. The next morning, Lloyd's family is sitting at the breakfast table. They all are sitting silent. Jade is in the kitchen. After a while, she comes to Olivia and takes her to get ready for school. Lloyd asks Meredith about her work, which is going to be harmful to others. She questions his work in return, that he is solely responsible for putting the TV industry to an end with his wonderful games. He says that he is simply progressing. He mocks the idea behind her work, which is going to make people stay alive forever. Jade overhears their conversation thoughtfully. Sherman asks Bob about Meredith's morning. Bob tells him that she is seeking votes for the next stage of trials. One of the male patients asks Vivian about their condition. She tells him to wait for a while and that the company is giving them compensation. He agrees to it, but he diverts her attention toward his skin, which has changed its color to gray. She tells him that they are working on it. Bob tells Sherman that the patients are getting restless about their gray skin. He chuckles and asks him to make some calculations for him. He calculates certain figures and finds out that he has spent $12,300,000 on each of his subjects without getting any return. So he doesn't care about people being restless. The old lady with gray skin asks Vivian about their changing condition, to which she replies that they have signed the paper. She tells her that their name tags, dresses, and not being able to see themselves are not to be part of therapy. Vivian says that they are cured of their phobia of passing away. Lloyd succeeds in making a new technology. He keeps it in his room and locks it. As he turns back, he finds Olivia standing there. He follows her, running to her room. When he has gone, Olivia picks a ladybug from the window glass and goes to her room to drink juice. She opens up her game, which resembles the box her father has made the new technology in. She turns the video game on by opening the box. She puts different objects in the box and the video begins to play according to that particular object. Eventually, she hits the juice box placed on the table. It drops in the box and the video turns off. She goes to the other room and takes out the other similar box. She turns it on and something mysterious begins to play on the screen. She runs off to Jade in fear. Jade goes and turns it on and puts different dolls in it, and it begins to play. A strong man with long hair announces the broadcast. He tells people when PCI announced their INOC. Many people stood by the screen to watch it. Charlotte is looking at her brother, who is sitting on his bed and staring into the air madly after getting his INOC. She feels much pain looking at his condition. Her friend tries to convince her by telling her that her name is on the list and that it would be a simple shot. Charlotte says that she finds it unnatural and does not want to have it. Jade puts another object in it, and this time, a boy can be seen ready to take his INOC. They prick him in his neck and he feels paralyzed, hearing the sounds of laughs. Jade asks Olivia about her game. She says that she has not done anything to it. Bob hands some papers to Sherman to sign. Sherman signs them and asks about the progress. Bob tells him that several pharmacies are ready for health screening. Jade brings another game for Olivia and sets it so that Olivia continues playing on it and she can continue to watch the stories. She puts 2 dolls in it and the screen shows the story. A young boy and a girl are sitting in a room while it is raining outside. They see a middle-aged man lying and being taken by the people to the church for his last services. They feel upset about seeing it. The bishop decently dresses him to make him look like a gentleman. He hears a knock at the door. He goes out wearing his raincoat and finds a young couple weeping. They ask him to help them in digging so that they can get their son back. He recognizes them as he has been there at their son's services. He tells the deceased body of the man that they wanted their son forever, but have lost him forever. He shows his grief over their condition, as they might have their son pass away naturally like the man and reunite with their loved ones after passing away. Jade sees another story where she finds a hound man lying on the road, and an old woman with gray skin gives him some money. He says that they give him the creeps. Charlotte passes by a shop and drinks something from there. She has a vision of her mother who asks her not to take the INOC. She opens up her eyes and goes somewhere. Jade remembers the time when she went to meet her mom. She changes the flowers from the table. Her mom embraces her. She wipes her tears and asks her what she should do. She tells her to keep her promises forever. Vivian and Meredith's assistant give instruction to the patients who have become gray. They ask them to tell their family members that the period of trials has been extended and that the company does not afford any scandal. Jade sees another story through the console. She sees 2 kids knock at the door of a doctor. As he opens the door, he finds a young man trembling in anxiety. He asks his name, to which he tells him that his name is Daniel. He asks Daniel to come in and that he can help him as he has been a doctor. Daniel goes in and tells him that they have pricked him in his neck and that he could see the naked girls around him with no heads. He tells him that he can hear their laughs even. The doctor asks him if he has not inoculated his INOC from an authorized clinic. Miles Lloyd comes to Jade, who is sitting in the living room, and asks her if she should not have taken his console without his permission. She tells her that she has not taken it and tells her the whole story of how Olivia has found it and she has to replace it. He asks if Olivia has seen any of the stories. Jade denies it. Miles Lloyd tells Meredith about his console and asks her to present it to her boss. She mocks the idea by saying that she would not present a kid's game to her boss. He tells her that it is not a mere game, but it knows everything and can tell everything, which can destroy all she has done so far. Meredith asks him if he has made some illegal technology that can put him in jail. The next morning, as Jade and Olivia reach home, Miles Lloyd gives her the console full of money and asks her to take his daughter away from there and from Meredith. He tells her that she can tell everyone that H has permitted her to take his daughter on a trip as they are approaching to arrest him. He asks her to promise him to take care of his daughter. She promises, and they leave for some far-off place. As they are sitting in a restaurant, Jade watches the reporter on the television who is reporting about Olivia's being missing after her father was arrested. She takes her out of the hotel. Sherman finds it interesting that Meredith's daughter has gone away with one of her previous subjects' daughters. He says that it may hinder her performance. Bob asks him to find out some cure for the gray skin. Sherman tells him that he does not want to go back to the laboratory. Rather, he ensures he finds out some solution for it, as living on the surface of the water makes him think faster. Jade sees another story in which Amber is being taken to the same doctor where Daniel has gone. He tells them that the kids have brought her to him. They have seen her crying on a bench. She tells him that her parents kicked her out of the house when she denies receiving INOC, since she has seen her elder brother staring into space after having INOC. The man with long hair tells in the mic that he has been cut off from the world outside for 2 decades, and that the world may have forgotten about this devastated place. He further tells that the people ate there waiting for their turn to receive the glorious gift to be eternal, which is an atrocity. Sherman tells Bob the solution to the gray skin. He tells him that everyone has the same skin tone and he is going to gift it to all. Bob breaks in, and he further tells Bob that he is going to run with it. The detectives receive some foggy photos of Jade and Olivia. They go to the address they receive photos from. When they reach there, they find an old lady getting excited about their coming there. She behaves crazy with them as she is not listening to them, and she turns the music on and begins to dance. She looks clumsy and rough. They go out realizing that they have come to the wrong address. Jade and Olivia are sitting on their lawn when Olivia asks her to live there, as she does not like to move from one place to another. Jade tells her that they would live there and she becomes happy. Bob asks Sherman why he has not taken INOC and if it works. Sherman chuckles at this and says that he has to do some affairs and then he would take it. He further says what difference would it make. Bob tells him that he is not following him, to which Sherman says that he always follows, but he never listens. Sherman tells him about their current 4 subjects who used to believe that they are going to pass away, but now they know that they would not. Bob asks him if the drug works, to which he says that he does not know about it, as the DNA of a human being keeps regenerating. He tells him that they are selling a promise. Everything in the world which is for sale is the promise. There is hope in the promise. There is no more money in anything intangible in the world than hope. Bob asks him if they have enough money to live millions of lives. He tells him that in his childhood, his grandfather told him that lobsters never pass away, and he believed in him. But when he found out that it was a false promise, but still hope is left there, he tells Bob that there would be 3 possibilities. Firstly, it prolongs human life, but still, they would pass away. Secondly, it does not work, which can turn the world crazy. And thirdly, it works and we don't pass away, as the DNA keeps regenerating. He would be more than a messiah at that point. He further says that he has forgotten about choice, as everyone has a choice to live forever or according to Mother Nature. What makes a difference is actually how he pitches it. And he likes to pitch it this way: as the greatest invention for mankind and the greatest experiment on mankind. Jade sees another story in which the doctor tells Daniel that the world is trying, but it won't work, as every story has a beginning and an end. Jade closes the console and finds Olivia still awake. She remembers when Miles Lloyd asks her to take Olivia with her. She goes to him and tells him that she knows everything that Meredith did to her mother, and he let her do that. He looks shocked. Jade calls her father, who sounds pleased to listen to her after such a long time. She tells her that she knows where he has got the money from. Olivia asks Jade to go out for ice cream. She agrees, and they go out. She tells her that she will keep Olivia with her, as she has promised her father to take care of her, and that her mother has asked her to keep her promises. The detective gets there and sees them from a distance. He comes to talk to Jade, who tells him that she has sent him the photograph. She chooses a random address and goes to buy a cell phone. The man at the counter demands her ID, which she says she has lost with her phone. That is how she has sent him the photos. She further tells him that she knows about her mother's passing, and what else Meredith has done through Lloyd's console. He assures her that he would not tell Meredith about them. The detective goes to Meredith and tells her that he has used all her sources to find her daughter in that small town, but cannot succeed in his mission. He asks her that he has to discuss another matter with her, and that is about the unauthorized human trial that caused their passings, and some people may say murders. A news reporter is rehearsing to report from outside of Lloyd's residence. She tells that it has been a year since the raid on the house, and that he is in prison now. His daughter Olivia is yet to be found, and now the story revolves around his wife Meredith. There are 4 people found in PCI who claim to be held there without their consent. Initially, they have been taken there for a part of some medical research, but they are given the INOC, which claims to make them alive forever. Meredith is responsible for countless passings in this way. She asks her crew member if something is going to happen to PCI, to which she replies that it may be. She tells the reporter that they are one of the millions of subsidiaries owned, and she asks her to guess, to which she becomes speechless. Olivia is waking at a stream bank when Jade receives her father's call. He tells her that Lloyd is sentenced to eternal sleep. She says that Olivia has only her now. After 10 years, Olivia places her photograph with her father in the console and watches the whole story to relive those moments. She is looking sad. Sherman, much older now, drops the cage into the water and cuts the fish. His skin has turned gray now.